I'd like to call to order the City of Belton Planning Commission meeting, Monday, April 19th. May we have the roll call, please?
Chairman McPherson,
Here.
Mayor Larkey,
Here.
Councilman Trutzel,
Here.
Commissioner McDonough, here. Commissioner Monahan Bass,
Here.
Commissioner Best, Commissioner Christie,
Here.
Commissioner Anderson,
Here.
and Commissioner Warren.
All right, thank you. We would entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes from our March 15th Planning Commission session.
So moved.
Here, a motion. Is there a second? All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or revisions, corrections that need to be noted? Seeing none, move for the approval of that. All those in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
Abstain.
All right, thank you. So we do have approval of that. Move on to our non-public hearings for this evening. The first matter of business we have is consideration of a final plat, replat for Lot 8 of Belton Gateway, located on the north side of Turner Road, east of 163rd Street, for the purpose of splitting the existing Lot 8 into Lots 8A and 8B. And Director?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the audience. As the chairman stated in his introduction, this is an application filed by Belton LLC for a replat of existing Lot 8 in Belton Gateway. Lot 8 is an existing 5.53 acre site. You'll see it here on the overhead. About 5.5 acres. This was originally platted with the Belton Gateway shopping area, and it is the location of Ulta Beauty, which is a 10,000 square foot specialty retailer at this location. The purpose of the replat is just kind of to right size the Ulta Beauty lot for the building and parking, and to create a new buildable lot for future development. The proposed Lot 8A for Ulta would be, after the split, would be 1.73 acres. And the Ulta would have the required parking in front of the building that exists today. The replat provides a conforming 10-foot side yard to the new lot line. And then more importantly, we would have then a vacant parcel for future development of about 3.8 acres. No new streets or access. As I stated, this is all developed with Belton Gateway Shopping Center, so there's interior circulation roads and a point of access off Turner Road. The final plat includes all appropriate language for utility and drainage easements, and staff does recommend approval of the proposed replat. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and the applicant is present.
Okay. I'd like to ask if the applicant has any comments you'd like to direct to the commission this evening.
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you. All right. Are there any questions for the director, for the applicant, from any members of the commission?
Motion to approve the final replat of Lot 8, Belton Gateway.
All right, we do have a motion to approve. Is there a second? We do have a second. Call once more for any question or discussion concerning the plan for replat. Seeing none, could we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Anderson, Commissioner Monahan Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Christie,
Yep.
Councilman Trutzel,
Aye.
Mayor Larkey,
Yes.
and Chairman McPherson.
Aye. I think we missed Mr. Commissioner McDonough. I know a lot of people think all he does is the adjourn, move for adjourn, but he does more than that. All right, thank you. That motion has passed, and the replat has been approved. Moving on to item B, consideration of a final plat for Tradition's fifth plat located on the north side of Cambridge Road, east of Mullen Road in the Tradition's planned unit development. And Director?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As a follow-up to your introduction, this is a final plat for Tradition's fifth plat. The Planning Commission will recall that the Traditions is a R3 mixed-use planned unit development that was approved in 2006. Now, in 2008, the Planning Commission, City Council did some revisions to that plan, changed some lot sizes and some road configurations. This proposed plan for the fifth plat does meet the 2018 revisions, and it provides land area for 19 new single-family lots in this fifth plat. Planning Commission might recall the fourth plat is just in this area here. To the north, that was 50 lots that the Planning Commission approved in a meeting in November. So this is just an extension of that fourth plat. Shane Lane is the main connector between these areas, and it takes Shane Lane and connects it down to Cambridge. The proposed plat does include a divided median. It serves as a landscape tract. That's necessary. That was part of the original plan, and that's similar to the entry design up on Sycamore. So this becomes another nice entry point to this fifth plat. The lots range in size from 80 to 100 square feet for these smaller lots here, interior lots, to the larger cul-de-sac lots are approximately 12,000 square feet. And all those lots meet the lot size requirements from the revised PUD in 2018. I did mention the Shane Lane and new proposed street. We also have street dedications for Macy Lane, which will serve as access to a future sixth plat, and a small cul-de-sac design Shane Court. The plat includes all appropriate language for easements and public utilities. And there are open space tracts designated. The most important one is this tract. I think that is 5C. That will be a landscape tract that will have a section of trail, and that trail goes back behind the fourth plat and circulates back up to the swimming pool. So that will be a nice landscaped tract with a required trail connection. Staff does recommend approval of the proposed fifth plat, and the applicant is present if there are any questions.
And I'll just ask again, does the applicant have anything that you'd like to present to the commission as well? All right. We'll just open it then to any discussion or questions from within the commission. None, we could entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. We do have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
A second. One last opportunity for any questions or comments? Seeing none, may we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner McDonough?
Aye.
Commissioner Anderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Monahan Bass?
Aye.
Commissioner Christie?
Aye.
Councilman Trutzel?
Aye.
Mayor Larkey?
Yes.
And Chairman McPherson?
Aye. All right, thank you. And that has also been approved. Item number C for this evening is consideration of a final development plan to permit the development of mcme's Coffee and Car Wash located at 510 East North Avenue. Director?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you stated, this application pertains to a final development plan to permit the development of mcme's Coffee and Car Wash. The applicant describes this operation as a high-end express tunnel car wash that offers coffee to ride-through customers and memberships that include coffee with a car wash. The company is presently developing a new facility in Liberty, and will further expand in the Kansas City and Midwest markets as they proceed with the Belton location. The applicant prepared a applicant's narrative, which was in the packet, that talks a little bit more about their concept. I won't speak about that in great detail, but the applicant team is present and they can talk a little bit more about their marketing and the niche that they're trying to develop. The property is zoned as C2 General Commercial District. A car wash is a permitted use in that zoning classification, but there are certain restrictions on drive-through facilities with vehicle stacking. Subject property, as you see on the overhead, is about a 38,000 square foot parcel on the north side of East North Avenue. The car wash is about a 6,400 square foot tunnel car wash. It's oriented north-south along North Avenue. Access to the car wash is from this east-west road that serves the Price Chopper Shopping Center. Customers will enter at this point. There is a long queuing area of approximately 18 automobiles, and they will go past a pay station kiosk, maneuver around this end of the building. There's an entry point here where there is the pickup window for any coffee or beverage they might have opted for. The vehicle then proceeds through the tunnel, exits at this location, comes around for free vacuums on the east side of the building, and then exiting traffic will come here. And again, that's a north-south private driveway to the Price Chopper Shopping Center. So no East North Avenue access, direct connection is proposed. The plan generally meets all of the C2 General Business District requirements. As you know, the C2 district is a zoning classification intended to provide mid-sized retail and commercial buildings along commercial corridors such as East North Avenue. The proposed development plan does meet code requirements as to vehicle stacking. As I stated, there's 18 stacking spaces before the pay kiosk, and the code only requires, I believe, 8 spaces. So we've got sufficient amount of stacking, and there is 6 spaces for employee parking, which covers the anticipated number of employees per shift. All the parking spaces do meet the dimensional requirements for length, width, and maneuvering, so we do have conforming parking and stacking on the plan. We do need to talk a minute about required yards and setbacks. The C2 zoning district requires a 30-foot front setback, and let me point that out. From this property line to the edge of the building, there is a required setback of 30 feet. The applicant is proposing that the final development plan be approved with a 27-foot setback, so they are requesting a 3-foot exception with this proposal. The reason for that is that on the north side of the site is an underground electric easement, and it's kind of hard to see, but it's really at this location, and this north part of the building is right up against that edge of the easement. So as I talked with them, it became apparent that they could not move the building 3 feet north to provide a 30-foot setback along East North Avenue on the south because of that constraint with the easement. The project architect was contacting the electric company to see about the possibility of a slight encroachment of 3 feet. We also talked about reducing the length of the tunnel wash by 3 feet. So we looked at all the angles. There's some equipment needs with that length of the tunnel, so that wasn't a possibility for them to do too. So I did ask the applicant team to prepare a justification for that 3-foot exception, and that was in your packet. Hope you had an opportunity to read that. The applicant can speak more about that. I'll just conclude on that exception, and that staff does not have any objections with the 3-foot exception. You know, there's not really an established pattern of 30-foot setbacks along East North Avenue. Most of the buildings, as you'll see here, are set farther back with parking in front. So the 3-foot exception is not going to provide any negative impact on adjoining properties or disrupt an established setback pattern in this commercial corridor. The proposed building meets height requirements, building coverage requirements. and it does meet open space requirements. There's a 20% open space requirement in our code, and the plan provides for 23% open space. So that is the details of the site plan. Let me roll on down here to the elevations. I have a colored elevation that I would want to get to. There we go. Our Unified Development Code requires all commercial properties to include 50% masonry on front and side elevations with certain articulation and offsets to add architectural detail on all four sides. The primary materials on this building are brown and gray split face block. You can see the gray split face block around the windows. There's also a soldier course along the bottom of the building. It adds an additional architectural detail. And then across the top of the building is a very attractive, I think, seamless metal panel in the blue that really provides a nice offset and contrast to colors with the other elevations of the building. There's also two tower elements on both ends of the proposed car wash. And those tower elements, I believe, provide a focal feature with contrasting materials of face brick and decorative metal, which enhance the overall design. Accordingly, the building design does meet all the requirements of the Unified Development Code. A landscape plan was submitted. As I stated, the plan provides 23% open space, but the plan also provides for required shade trees, parking lot landscaping, and we did ask for street trees along East North Avenue at a 40-foot spacing. So we'll begin to have some street trees, parkway trees along that portion of the site. I talked a little bit about streets and access on the site plan. Again, I want to point out that there's no new access proposed to East North Avenue. So our engineering division did review the site plan, and the only comment we really had is that for exiting traffic, leaving the vacuum area, during peak times, exiting traffic might back up at this area trying to exit out on the private driveway. You know, I don't think that's going to be a situation that causes congestion on East North Avenue, the public street, but there's a possibility that in peak times there could be some congestion at that exit, but we don't think it's going to be anything that causes any traffic problems on 58 Highway or have any adverse impact on existing traffic conditions. Detention for the site. This site is in the Marquee Regional Detention Area, and our Unified Development Code provides for a payment in lieu of on-site detention. That's based on impervious surface, and that will be a fee collected at the time of building permit application. In conclusion, the staff does recommend approval of the final development plan. We do believe the building's an attractive design meeting our code requirements. We believe that the 3-foot exception to the front setback is reasonable considering the constraint of the existing utility easement. And I will conclude with that, and the applicant team is present for a brief presentation to the Planning Commission.
All right. I'd like to welcome you to come to the podium over here, if you would, and introduce yourself, and love to hear what you have to present to us tonight.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
I'm not sure. I think that might need to be turned on, the microphone.
Is it good? Is this better?
There we go.
Okay.
Good.
Sorry, adjust this really quick. My name's Will Dubois. I'm with Davidson Architecture. We're the ones that have been developing these plans. We're really excited about the opportunity to bring this car wash to Belton. We think it's an attractive car wash that will service the community well. We appreciate staff working with us as we've kind of tried to work through this issue on the 3-foot encroachment into that setback. We have added some plants to help break that up, and also with the street trees that are along that road, we think that this won't be a major deviation from what's already along that road. So if there's any questions about the building or operations, I'd be happy to answer any questions. We also have some of the ownership group here as well that can help answer any questions about the operations.
All right. Thank you. So for the commission, we have Councilman Trutzel.
Well, I like your project and everything. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a warning, maybe a recommendation. Turning left out of the Price Chopper roadway is an absolute disaster waiting to happen. There are numerous crashes along that left-hand turn. A right-hand turn is not so bad. There is a dedicated right-hand turn. If you go left-hand turn, you're gonna go across 3 lanes, and I will guarantee a percentage of that is gonna be a crash. It always happens in front of the gas station as well. If people try to cut across there, even make a left-hand turn to go south on the Y Highway. So I'm gonna suggest that you put a sign out there on 58 Highway or at the exit there that no left-hand turns are made, and force people to go right, go down, and they can make a turn down there and come back and go back the direction, just as a safety more than anything else. But I've been across there many, many times, and that is an absolute disaster ready to happen. Like I said, I'm not opposed to the project, however.
So Director, would that be something that is a decision for the city council, since that would involve a street, or is that a
Well,
private street?
This is a private road, the access road to Price Chopper, and this is a final development plan which has final approval by the Planning Commission. The final development plan does not go to the city council. So I think, Mr. Trutzel, are you proposing a sign at this location for traffic exiting the car wash or traffic exit
It comes around the Price Chopper roadway.
at this location? Right,
58.
On 258.
yeah.
That's a nightmare there.
Sure it is. I mean, you have that condition anywhere up and down the street, so I think that's a reasonable request, and I think the applicant could speak to that, but we could add a condition, should the planning commission concur with that there be a no left turn sign installed there. Or the other thing I'm thinking is, another option would be just to take this exiting driveway and just put a taper in it so where you only can turn left leaving the car wash and have people loop back around. Somebody's always going to turn right because they will, but that's another option. You could channel that exit to have traffic go north.
Mayor?
I would think even not necessarily limiting that exit onto the private drive to go left, but even out at the private drive, make it to where it either goes right and people can turn in. I know we probably can't do that, but I would hate to limit someone going right and then going back west, because that's not that bad of a turn. Coming out of there and then going right onto 58, that's not that bad of a turn. It's the turn going left onto 58's the problem. So I would hate to limit them not to be able to come out of there right and then right. So.
Okay. Any other comments? I guess, Director, one that I had that I was going to ask, with the setback being where it is, will that create, and it goes to the same thing we're talking about right now, would that create any kind of vision problem for looking up 58 to see what is coming from the west?
No, sir, I don't think so. Traffic would have to come out to this point, to get, kind of teed up to exit the site, and I don't think there's any sight distance problem there at all.
I wasn't sure if we had a sidewalk running along there that had them stopping back behind that area or not. I thought from the aerial picture, it looked like there might have been a sidewalk there, and that was what got my attention on that.
There is.
Sidewalk.
Yeah.
So the possibility of posting a sign just simply saying, an exiting sign at the driveway saying no left turn. So we can have the applicant team comment to that. Hopefully that's not objectionable. Might be a good safeguard.
Well, we haven't discussed that, so it sounds like the issue is coming south and then turning onto the highway. I think that maybe that I understand the concerns, but I believe that'd still be an issue with the price chopper traffic as well. So it seems like, I understand the concern, but maybe that needs to be part of a larger conversation, because there will be a lot of traffic through the drive-through, but price chopper probably has more traffic itself. So I think maybe that needs to be an ongoing conversation with, the AutoZone, the price chopper, and the car wash as well, because I think that just limiting, obviously there's already crashes, so it's an issue that would need to be addressed, or should be addressed, with not just the car wash, but kind of everyone in the area figuring out a new way to address that, not just the car wash. My 2 cents.
Just to mention, the AutoZone doesn't use that private drive. They use Bradford Lane, and the Price Chopper also has a lot of street access to 163rd Street in front of the Price Chopper. So that not a lot of people from the Price Chopper use that private drive unless they're coming into Price Chopper from 158th Street. So
Gotcha.
just to point those things out, this would add to the traffic to that private drive area.
And a lot of that is knowing the issue and trying to turn east, coming out of there, and go across all those lanes of traffic. And so that's why so many of them use it to go in but not out. So.
But my question, to tag on to this, because I don't know that it's something the applicant needs to put like on their property. I almost feel like this should be something that is signage, or maybe, I guess a question, because the aerial photo doesn't really show it, and I don't remember, is there a left turn lane? Or is it, like the people coming out south on the private, is there a lane for right and a lane for left, or is it just one lane? It's just one lane? Okay. I mean, wouldn't the signage for no left turn be on the street and not on the applicant's property? I mean, next to the sidewalk, I would imagine.
Probably not this location, probably
Yeah.
in the corner of the lot line.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. McDonough?
Personally, I think it almost needs to be a right in, right out street. It should be an island in there, and only take a right in there and only take a right coming out. Because that's gonna be a lot of traffic right there. There's not very much right now. It's hardly even used right now. But a right in, right out would ease all that.
This location,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
that would be a question for the owner of the Price Chopper property. And might be something that has to be considered really in terms of traffic flow in and out of the shopping center, because there are several other entrances and exits, and
Chairman, if I may?
Yes.
David Christie, who's the owner of the rest of the shopping center, is here in case you have any questions for him in that regard.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Christie, since this looks like it's coming back around to involve you, whether you intended to be here for that or not.
Thank you. Can I remove my mask so I can
Sure.
talk easier? Thank you. Thank you for the job you guys do. It's such a thankless job showing up and dealing with all the intricacies of development. We really appreciate it as developers in your community. I just love this concept of what they're doing, coffee and car wash. They're acquiring the coffee from, I don't know if it's a monastery or some type of nonprofit faith-based organization in Guatemala. So they're basically, it's mission-based, which I love when I heard about it, and allows them to do it. And it's a great concept. And obviously, I've been developing since 1979, and I very few times see things that are really exciting to me. And I think it's just incredible that people can come in and pay the $23 a month, and they can get coffee, get their, because, I'm always so busy with my schedule and stuff. Relative to, I have acquired the Taco Bueno, and I put a national fast casual in there. And we're working on that now. So I bought that last month. And so the traffic on and around 58 is going to accelerate. And so, because it's kind of been dead, as everybody knows. So we're happy to discuss this. I think we need to, Mr. Constantino owns that drive, and I think he needs to weigh in on that. I'll remind the Plan Commission that when I built the Coles Target project, MoDOT didn't want me to build access points into the famous footwear center. And I basically said to them, which I would like to share with you all have the policing rights to close access if there's accidents, and it's dangerous. And so if it becomes a problem and McBee's Car Wash doesn't want to self-regulate and Constantino's doesn't want to self-regulate and enforce it, then they can come to you and ask you to put up a sign so that their people aren't getting hurt. But I think that's just critical that we continue to involve literally the people that own the real estate. They have acquired the pad for me. They've been unbelievable to deal with. And when the previous administration asked me to acquire the center to fill it up, the good news is I've signed nearly a 5,000-foot bar and grill lease in the shopping center. We'll be in for approvals on that. The plans are almost done.
Good.
So we've leased a big space of that and have several other things working. So we thank you for your confidence in the McBee's Car Wash and us. Commissioner Trutzel is right. If it's a problem, we don't want people killed on our watch. I certainly don't. So if there's a problem, we need to fix it, and I'm the first one to lead the charge to do that if we need to. So, thank you.
All right, thank you. Do we have any other questions, comments from the council? When I first read this, I have to admit that I read that it was a high-end espresso tunnel car wash instead of express. But, anything coffee related, that gets my attention. So, all right. If there are no other comments, we'd entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the final development plan for the mcme Coffee Car Wash with future discussion on what we'll need to do on that turn signal. Let administration deal with that issue.
Okay.
So that would be, for example, adding condition number 3 to the staff report?
We just sort the staff, whatever staff can
Okay.
work out.
All right.
To work with all parties involved on the access. Okay.
I second that motion.
All right, we do have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, could we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner McDonough? Aye. Commissioner Anderson? Aye. Commissioner Monahan Bass?
Aye.
Commissioner Christie?
Aye.
Councilman Trutzel?
Aye.
Mayor Larkey?
Yes.
And Chairman McPherson?
Aye. All right, thank you. And when's the coffee going to be ready? Okay. No, I was really intrigued by the concept, and I think it's a great idea, and so glad that you brought that to our community and let us be a part of it. All right, moving on to item D, consideration of the final development plan to permit the development of Center 301 apartments consisting of 306 units on 17.15 acres located at the southeast corner of Town Center Drive and Markey Parkway. And Director?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you stated, this is a final development plan for Center 301 apartments. The Planning Commission might recall that they convened a public hearing on a rezoning and a preliminary plan on September 21st of last year. And this final development plan is just a follow-up to that rezoning and the preliminary plan that was approved by the Planning Commission at that time. This final plan is virtually identical to the preliminary plan. We have 306 apartments on a 17-acre site. There are several different styles of buildings. There are 23 buildings and a clubhouse. There are 154 one-bedroom apartments and 152 two-bedroom apartments. with 5 different floor plans, and that's the same information that, as I stated, that was part of the preliminary development plan. The site also includes a 3,600 square foot clubhouse, features an outdoor swimming pool, cabana, kitchen, business center, fitness facility. We need to get rid of the car wash here. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. Location map, survey, and here's just the overall site plan. The property is along Town Center Drive and Marquee Parkway. The main entrance, which brings people into the clubhouse, is right here on Town Center Drive. That is about 3 blocks north of 58 Highway, so hence it's called Center 301 Apartments. And clubhouse is here, the pool cabana. There is a small dog park at this location here for the convenience of residents. Dog exercise area. The plan does meet all the requirements of the R3 Community Residence District. As the Planning Commission knows, this is a multifamily residential, it's intended to provide multifamily residential along arterial streets to serve as a buffer to commercial development, and that's exactly what this project does. It abuts the Target and near Home Depot just to the south. The plan does meet all of our code requirements for parking, required yard setbacks. Plan does meet requirements for building height, maximum building coverage, and what I think is the highlight of the plan, our code requires a 30% required open space, and this plan provides virtually 50% open space, so just a tremendous amount of open space and potential for amenities and trails and areas for residents. Our code does not have any specific building design requirements for R3 buildings, but the design proposed by the developer provides a quality mix of building materials and an attractive architectural design. The ground floor is differentiated from the upper floors and middle floor by change of building materials, columns, balconies, offsets, and other methods of articulation that provide a great variety of design. And the clubhouse is designed of materials to be compatible with the apartment buildings. As I stated, landscaping and open space is one of the real attractive parts of this final development plan. We have 49% open space. The plan meets all requirements for parking lot landscaping, foundation landscaping. We also have a very stringent requirement for what's called a Type A buffer for multifamily abutting commercial at this location. And the landscape plan provides for a solid coniferous evergreen tree line on the side of these apartments, so it's going to provide an instant buffer, which is going to be a great amenity to the to separate the plan from the Target store. There is a perimeter fence that goes around the project, and when we did the final development plan, we had that revised to 4 feet, and with this the preliminary plan was 4 feet. This final plan somehow went to 5 feet, so about the only change in this final development plan is we'd like the perimeter fence to go back to 4 feet, because our code does have a 4 feet maximum for a decorative fence and in any areas like that. So that's about the only real change to this final development plan. Again, trails and sidewalks are an important part of Center 301 Apartments. There are sidewalks provided to and from all buildings with pedestrian access to parking areas to the clubhouse, main open space. There's a 8-foot trail that bisects the site from Marquee Parkway over to Town Center Drive. That ties in with the Nexus Trail, and then residents would have the ability to go to Memorial Park, for example, or other areas along the Nexus Trail on Marquee Parkway. We also work to provide a more direct pedestrian connection here, so residents could have a quicker walking pattern to leave the apartment complex and get over to Target or Jose Peppers without having to go clear to the main trail here. So a lot of nice details in the plan. Again, I want to commend Case for all the work that they did over the last year. This final development plan is very well done, and I understand that they want to move very quickly with potential moving some site grading in the middle of May. So that would be conclusion for my presentation, and staff would recommend approval of the final development plan. And Mr. Justin Dixon from Case Development is present. He's one of the project managers for Case Development.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Dixon.
Nice to be here. My name's Justin Dixon with Case & Associates, Tulsa, Oklahoma. We are in agreement with all of staff's recommendations, and we're excited to get started. We have Emory SAP on, just waiting for us to give them the okay to mobilize and get in the dirt. So we're excited to be here. It's been a very good experience. We work in several different cities across the region, 6 different states, and we've had a very good experience working with your staff.
Right.
It's been overall one of our better experiences for sure. So I'm happy to be here and happy to answer any questions you might have.
All right, thank you. It's always good to hear the feedback that our people come into our community and hear and find. So, Mr. Trutzel. Oh, over
Do
here.
you have a
Yep.
completion date, target date?
So typically our jobs from once we start is 15 to 18 months depending on weather. It'll be, we don't do them in phases. We'll do the whole project at once. So we'll be hopefully completely done within 18 months at the latest, assuming we don't have a bad winter.
Good. All right.
That's what I hear. I'm just trying to get back to Tulsa tonight.
So, any additional questions, comments? Motions?
Move to approve the final development plan for Center 301 Apartments.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Once more, call for any additional comments or questions. Seeing none, may we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner McDonough? Aye. Commissioner Anderson? Aye. Commissioner Monahan Bass?
Aye.
Commissioner Christie?
Aye.
Councilman Trutzel?
Aye.
Mayor Larkey?
Yes.
And Chairman McPherson?
Aye. All right, thank you. And that brings us to the last of our non-public hearing items this evening. Number E, consideration of the final plat for Center 301 Apartments located at the southeast corner of Town Center Drive and Markey Parkway. Director?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm scrolling to get that plat for us here. The final development plan had a lot of great detail, but here we go. This is simply the final plat necessary to create a lot for the property to be recorded with the Cass County Recorder to allow the project to come forward on a lot of record as our code requires. So it's just creating one lot for the 17.15 acre site. Again, it's just a necessary mechanical step in order to kick the project off on a specific lot of record. So staff recommends approval. It does meet all requirements of our Unified Development Code.
Thank you, Director. Any comments or questions? Or motions?
I make a motion that we approve the final plat for Center 301.
Thank you, Commissioner. Have the motion and second. Any last comments? May we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner McDonough? Aye. Commissioner Anderson? Aye. Commissioner Monahan Bass?
Aye.
Commissioner Christie? Aye. Councilman Trutzel?
Aye.
Mayor Larkey?
Yes.
And Chairman McPherson?
Aye. All right, thank you. That concludes the items we had under the non-public hearing. Director, do you have anything for a report this evening?
I thought I would just mention, the Planning Commission will recall last month, March 15th, convened a public hearing for rezoning and preliminary plan for Southview Commerce Center for Building 4. I thought I would just follow up on that. That Planning Commission recommendation went on to the City Council. City Council reviewed that. Spent some time making a detailed review of that Planning Commission recommendation, and completed and passed ordinances. So Southview Commerce Center Building 4, the rezoning ordinance was approved, and the development agreement was just approved last Tuesday. So that takes care of all the entitlements for that to this point. We do expect they will come back with a final development plan and final plat for Building 4, probably in June. I would think that will be on a Planning Commission agenda very soon. They're working on that now. They want to get that building started. So under next meeting date, we just have to be determined, because I think that'll probably be our next agenda item coming forward. So, but if there's some other items, we will keep you posted about any intermediate dates. Thank you.
All right. So I just have to say, the last couple of days I've driven around a couple different areas, and I can't believe how much dirt is being moved in the city right now. Coming up 163rd to get here tonight, it's been a couple weeks, and I was totally shocked to see how that development is coming along. Went by Traditions yesterday, and same thing. It was just amazing to see all the growth that's happening in so many different areas. So it's exciting. So I believe that is all that we have, since we do not have a next meeting date determined yet. Just watch, and do we have a motion? We do have a motion. Is there a second? Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all.